perfect prayer for a perfect blessing. A perfect prayer for a perfect blessing. Jabez was more honorable than his brothers. His mother had named him Jabez, saying, I gave birth to him in pain. Jabez cried out to the God of Israel, oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my territory. Let your hand be with me and keep me from harm so that I will be free from pain. And God granted his request. This is a very special and a very unique prayer. Lady Monica, the flow of it is actually a master model of how we successfully submit dispatches to our daddy's desk. And I want to just focus on 4 things about this prayer. Now, before I get to the first thing, one thing I want you to look at it. When you pray, you ought to be specific. When you pray, you are to make it personal. Anything you do with God, you ought to make it personal. That's why the songwriter said, he didn't say this is your story, this is your song. He said this is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior every day long. Because when you truly got a relationship, you can't be general, you got to be specific. Preach, pastor, if you got you all by yourself. So when I look at Jabez's prayer, first of all, Minister James, it's personal. And it is a prescription that is presented to the promise keeper and the master physician. And you know what? When you're really going through, come on, y'all don't be giving one of them God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who held out the mountains and across the sea. When you really going through the opposite of heaven, you don't get no generic or no general, because it's like when you're really sick. When you're really sick, sometime over-the-counter medicine won't do. Come on, say amen, somebody. Sometime when you're trying to cure disease, not just disease, but disease, sometimes over-the-counter stuff won't happen. And sometimes you got to call the doctor and say, I got a flu I ain't seen nobody else have, and I need something personal for my situation. Can I preach up in here? I am going to preach if I got to all by myself. So the prayer is presented in what he has been named. His mother named him Jabez. Jabez means pain. Now, when I looked at it, it said that he was more honorable than his brothers. So you would think that his name would reflect something that was positive and something that was potential, but she named him pain. And it tells you right there why she did it, Lady Kim. Read, it said, because she gave birth to him in pain. Now, I want y'all to understand, she's not simply referring to childbirth and all of the pain that you go through as a mother. She's not simply talking about that, but she's also talking about emotionally. Say amen, somebody. Now, the Bible does not give specifics, but there are some signs here that may give us some clue to some more of the situation. Because, first of all, there is no mention of daddy being around. And the Bible does not say that daddy named him. The word says she named him. So she named him Solo. So he pretty much has 4 specifics which he sends, and I'm going to talk about those 4 requests, and then I'm going to bounce. First of all, you could tell that he was serious because of the way he cries out. The way he cries out, his name is pain. He's in pain, and he has come from a mama who was in pain when she gave him his name. Do you see the pain? He said, oh! You ever know when you heard him? When you heard him, go like, oh. When you heard him, you go, oh! Y'all ain't never heard before. Come on, say amen, somebody. When you really heard Reverend Scott, you go, oh! And he says, oh, that you would bless me indeed. First of all, I want y'all to look at the emotional start. First of all, there's 2 specifics within the general specific. He says, I don't want anybody to bless me. He says, I want you. not MasterCard, not Macy's, not anything. He said, I want you to bless me. And then he says, indeed. Now, I want y'all to know that word indeed is straight to the point. It means for real, for real. It means sure enough bless me. It means I ain't playing. This is not no prayer where he's just praying generically. Lord, thank you for clothes on my back and food on my table and shelter over my house. He's asking for a whole new life and a whole new life because he's in pain. First of all, mothers, he has been dealt a devastating debt. And so Jabez is saying, listen, my dilemma is dire. And I need indeed to get me up from under this rock of pain, which is crushing me. I can hear him saying, my mama named me what she was going through. And it's probably whatever daddy was putting her through. Matter of fact, when I look at it, Camille, it really looks like she's having a baby mama drama. Can I get some help up in here? And so he's looking there. He said, you don't understand. She's named me from her emotion. And now I become what she has bestowed. In other words, he says, God, the cards that I've been dealt, they're crucifying and cutting me to the core. Or get them C's a hand. Because they're crucifying and cutting me to the core. And he says, I'm pleading, God, for you to provide a prescription which blesses. Now he says he wants a blessing. What is a blessing? A blessing is extending and enjoying the favor of God that has fallen on your life and over your life. So what he's seeking, Walgreens don't have. What he's seeking, CVS don't have. What he's seeking is the supernatural favor of God, and earth cannot give that. When you're dealing with an extraordinary problem, an ordinary prescription won't work. Can I preach? Now, let me just throw this in there. Sometimes God lets our pain get so deep, heaven, get so deep that we have to go after indeed. You know, sometimes when we desperate, and first of all, we know we ain't did nothing to get no real blessing anyway. That's why a lot of times we don't pray because we're like, man, I can't be asking God for nothing today when he know where I was last night. Come on, say amen, somebody. But sometimes we're desperate. And even though we want the blessing, we don't ask for the indeed. We want a quickie. I'm talking about blessings, y'all. Come on back. Come on. I'm talking about blessing. I don't know where y'all mind at. Somebody looked at me like, whoa, okay. All right, amen. But he says, Lord, I want you to bless me because when you are overwhelmed and you need a mountain of help, we ask for the whole mountain. And we say, Lord, bless me indeed. Second request, verse 10, he says, enlarge my territory. Expand my territory. If he was in the drive-through of McDonald's, he would say, supersize it. If he was in the drive-through of Sonic, Sonic-size it. If he was in the drive-through of Hardee's, Hardee's-size it. Say amen, somebody. In other words, he says, God, I'm asking for more. And I'm believing for more because my capacity needs to handle the more that I'm asking for. Say amen, somebody. So you remember Israel was this, agricultural situation. And you remember that it was made up with land. And the land had borders. And so he knew that God, when you answer my request, it's going to require an expansion of the borders that are in place. He says, so I need for you to increase my present territory. Is this helping anybody? He says, God, I'm asking for more, and when you do it, I need to have the capacity to handle more. Let me paint it like this. Y'all know I'm an illustrationist, if there's such thing, but If you had a bottle, you know, you used to have Pepsi in the bottle. If you had a bottle and you stuck it in the Pacific Ocean, all you can get sticking it in the Pacific Ocean is a bottle of the Pacific. But the Pacific can give you much more. But the bottle does not handle, it does not have the capacity to possess more. Now, the Pacific has all of the water that you need. But if all you got is a bottle to draw with, your capacity is limited. I'm helping anybody. Okay, let me just come down your street with a different angle. A lot of us want God to do more when we can't handle more. Preach, Pastor. So you got to understand, we want God to expand our territory. We want God to expand our capacity to experience more when we do not have the capacity to handle the more that we're trying to experience. Is this helping anybody? See, a lot of folk want skyscraper situations on a shaky and unstable foundation. Preach, Pastor. Yeah, we don't want to grow in our actions, reading our Bible more, praying more. We don't want to grow in our actions, but we want the supernatural blessings and the favor of God on our life. Can I just ask you a question? Why should or why would God bless you with more for you to leave him out more? I'm gonna let that marinate in you. Come on, let's just keep it 100. You want more finance so you can travel more and worship less. You got a new car, got GPS, top of the line navigation, and it can go everywhere you go but to the church. Even if you try to bring it to the church, it say rerouting. Come on, Pastor. Preach. I mean, listen, if you pour the Pacific in a bottle, once the bottle is full, the Pacific overflow is wasted because the bottle can only handle what it handles. So from God's standpoint, God is not, and I don't know who this is for, but catch it and you catch it. You ain't got to say amen. This ain't where you tell on yourself and say amen. But this is for 4 or 5 people. God wants you to know that he is not going to waste his glory on a limited part-time relationship. God said he ain't trying to shack with you. He ain't trying to go through a drive-through. He ain't trying to get a quickie with you. God said he wants a lifestyle. He wants a relationship. He wants a bond. Can I preach in this place? Oh, Lord have mercy. So, where you say, God, I can't handle it. I got to pray to you, and I need for you to take the wheel. Look at your neighbor and say, I need God to take the wheel. I only got 8 minutes, but there was a story about the Pope. The Pope had landed in New Jersey, and when he landed, they had a limousine waiting on the Pope because he was there talking to the United Nations. So he got in the limousine, and the limousine guy was driving, Jordan. He just driving. There's a lot of traffic. So, he going faster than the speed limit. And the Pope said, hey, I need to get to going where I'm going. He said, well, Pope? He says, I'm going as fast as I can. So he went around and Pope said, hey, I don't like to be late. He said, I need for you to speed it up. So all of a sudden, Deacon Javier, Pope said, pull over. Get in the back seat. Pope got in the driver's, Lady Kim. He rolling on 2 wheels. The pontiff, come on, say it, man, somebody. The pontiff, man. It used to be Batman for y'all, man. But all of a sudden, Kim, police that happen to be Catholic, they said, pull that clown over. So they pulled him over. One police just sat in the car. But the other one went out and rolled down the window. He saw who it was.